Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to episode 2 of the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. On this episode, I get to sit and talk to a great guy, Chris Shirk. He runs the Instagram page, Shrewsbury From Where You're Not. Takes some of the most tranquil, most brilliant, vibrant pictures of the town from the rooftops. You may have seen it. He's a great guy, really fantastic guy, absolutely no fear at all, a really great person to talk to. We were supposed to meet up in the week. I was going to try and we talked a little bit about there apparently is like something underneath castle carpets in town, and we were going to meet up and have a look and get a selfie, because I like to get a selfie with all the people I interview. But we run into so many problems. It's been one of those weeks. You may have seen on my Facebook, on my Instagram, I've just had one of those weeks where nothing's gone right, and I wanted to thank everyone for your support. I had a weird week where I decided I was going to walk around with a microphone and talk to people about Christmas, and I think it was like, one of those days where just nobody wanted to talk. I look like a salesman in all honesty. I'm going to get some clothing with the show logo on and something that looks a bit more friendly. Also, I'd just come off a night shift, so I was a bit sleepy and a little bit agitated as it was. But that's not going to stop me. I'm actually going to be walking around with a microphone on the Light Switch, which is on Wednesday the 14th. If you didn't know about that, make sure you check it out. It's a great event, always. And you'll see me walking around, sticking microphones in people's faces. If you do see me walking around, make sure you come and say hello. And maybe we can have a chat and get you on the show. I just want to know about people's Christmas preparations. How early do people start preparing for things? Where do people like to go? What do they like to buy? And when do they buy it? Are you a Christmas planner? Start planning things from like August or even before? Or are you a last-minute shopper that runs around and panics, a bit like me? Also, the most important question is, when does the tree go up? Okay, what date does the tree go up? Because it's always quite a controversial conversation. But anyway, less about me. Let's get on with the show. And thank you again to everyone for your support and your kind words regarding the show and my Shrewsbury town humiliation. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the show. Hey, have you ever wondered what makes Shrewsbury such a great town? I think about it all the time. That's why I decided to create the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast, a place where we can sit and talk to people from all walks of life, listen to stories about what makes this town such a great place to live. We're going to be talking to authors and historians, artists and musicians, entrepreneurs, and people that have got great stories to tell about this town. Welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. Okay, guys, so welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I'm your host, Alex, and with me today is Chris Shirk. Shirk, is that right?
Yep,
that's right.
That'll do.
Yeah, that'll do. So tell us a bit about yourself. What's made me bring you here today?
I write a blog called Shrewsbury From Where You Are Not, which was originally taking photos of the town from the rooftops and all the places where people generally are not.
It's insane, absolutely insane. Your Instagram is one of the best Instagrams I've ever seen. It's ridiculous. I genuinely get anxiety from looking at it in a weird way that I could never imagine myself climbing on top of a rooftop and taking pictures the way you do. How long have you been doing it for?
I started in 2010, but I wasn't actually putting anything on social media until 2014.
Okay.
Because at that point, I just thought, well, I've got a computer full of pictures, and I'm not doing anything with them. I should probably do something with them.
Okay. That's cool, man. I mean, what gets more hits, your blog or the Instagram? What's more popular?
Oh, the blog definitely.
Yeah.
The blog gets between 20. I don't want to brag, but
No, brag away, man. That's what this is for.
I don't know what the average hit count is for other bloggers. I don't know if I'm going to like embarrass myself by thinking that this is a big number, or if I'm going to embarrass them.
No, you're proud of it. So.
Typically, I get between 20,000 and 30,000 views on a blog post, whereas my Instagram only has I think we just passed 3,000 followers on Instagram. So.
That's fantastic. I mean, you inspire people, and not just that. You get pictures of the town and other places as well, because you don't just stick to Shrewsbury, but you get pictures that people wouldn't normally see. And you've seen a large rise in people taking pictures with drones and high up pictures and things like that.
Drones are cheating. I mean, they're great, but they're cheating. You know, it's not as fun as just being there yourself. You know.
No, yeah. Oh yeah, I imagine. I mean, also as well, you got to take into account that you're standing on a rooftop. It's quite dangerous. Yeah,
it's dangerous. It's not as dangerous as you might think.
Really?
I personally would say that driving is probably more dangerous. Driving, you've got to like take into consideration everyone else on the road with you, and the fact that if something goes wrong, then you're probably dead. Whereas rooftoping, you actively have to try to fall off if you're going to fall off because you can see the edge, and you've only got your own common sense to work with. You're not having to deal with anyone else who's there with you,
So I take it you have to kind of do this at nighttime. You can't really do this during the day, can you?
Some rooftops are better during the day, but mostly it's at night.
So explain it to me though, the process. Do you ask for access, or do you actually just scale the walls? Then how do you do this?
It started off scaling the walls, but now that it's picked up a bit on social media, people actually do sometimes let me on their roof. It's quite good. It's interesting that we've come that far, really. I always used to operate with the understanding of I'd rather be told off than told no. So just do it.
Yeah.
And if they tell me off, then they tell me off. But they're only going to ask me to leave. That's literally like the worst possible outcome to climbing on a roof. As a rule, I don't do residential buildings, so I'm not going to climb up someone's house.
That's Hi, Chris. It's just Chris. Don't worry, he's from Shrewsbury, where you are not. So, is someone like invited you to come to their place and just climb out of their window? You do that, or was that too difficult?
It depends what it is. I mean, do they live in a skyscraper or do they live in a little cottage? I'm not going to sit on the roof of a cottage and take a photo. I mean, what are you going to see from there?
The tree looks so beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably give them a million ways on how to get up a cottage, myself without going through the window. But if it's a skyscraper in a city, then I'm totally there. If they've got like a penthouse or something and they've got like a nice little garden on top, then yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. I also like the urban exploring that you do. It's a bit of a grey area at times, is it?
A little bit grey area, yeah.
But it's a civil matter, isn't it? If somebody wanted to do you for trespassing, they'd have to take you to court.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a police matter. They couldn't arrest you for it, right? Is that
no,
right?
I don't think they could arrest me for it unless I was to do something stupid like break in, vandalize, steal stuff, and there's that many people doing these things now, and these places are usually. Well, I'll just say they are abandoned. I mean, sometimes you go to a place and it looks abandoned, and it turns out it's not. It's just a bit scruffy, and then you kind of have to apologise and
walk in as a family of four in a bed.
That's never happened to me. No, thankfully that's not happened to me yet.
So, have you ever been caught scaling a building, told to do one?
Yeah, plenty of times.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't blog about that bit, but it happens. Shrewsbury's actually a really good place for doing this because the police now they know who I am. I'm not going to brag and say that they like me because
Chris,
they probably
told you before. Yeah.
they probably don't like me, but they know me, and they when they get a call and they see it's me, they have to respond, but at the same time they're very much like, okay, Chris, get down on your bike, and and I just do as they say because the best way to stay out of trouble with the police is just to be nice to them.
Without being too personal, I mean, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. But what do your folks think about this? Your parents? Do they?
My father, my father's passed away.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
It's okay. I don't think he knew about it. I seem to recall him saying something to my mother a few years back, saying, it's her fault that I'm a bit crazy. I don't know what he was referring to. He might have been referring to any number of things. And to be honest, it probably is her fault. And I'm pretty sure she follows me on Twitter.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, okay. The only reason I ask is because I've got kids, and if I imagine one of them climbing up a building, I'd be like, oh my God. I mean, I've got little, like a coffee table, I've got stairs here and things like that. And if my little boy's messing around, so, I catch him climbing up something else, I kind of have a heart attack. So the thought of him scaling a building would be absolutely,
Oh, it's funny. Obviously my sister's got kids, and they seem to look up to me, and they're always, the eldest, my eldest niece is 10, and she's always asking me if she can come on rooftops with me and stuff. And I've told her, when you're older, I want to make sure she's, not a minor before I put her life at risk, really.
Have you ever had any like scary incidents, anything hairy, a slip or
on a rooftop? I'm trying to think. No, I don't think so.
No.
I'm pretty clumsy anyway. I've got plenty of hilarious stories where I'll come down off a rooftop and I'll fall over something stupid like a pavement, like as soon as I get to the bottom. But generally, no, nothing bad's ever happened on a rooftop.
Can you imagine if that happened to Spider-Man? He's great on a rooftop, but as soon as he walks into lampposts and things like that. So where did this happen? How old were you when you sort of started doing this? When you looked up at a building and you thought, I am going to climb that,
I think it's about 8 years ago, so it would have been early 20s.
Yeah.
I was walking along one day, and I was having a bit of a bad day, to be honest. And I just I walked past, and I overheard some teenagers. They were talking about going into the old Burger King building, which, if I don't know if you know, but Burger King is where Waitrose is now.
Okay.
So, and at the time it was big and derelict, and I just walked past it every single day and completely overlooked it. But when I heard these kids talking about going in there, I was intrigued. So I asked if I could tag along, and they took me around the back. And I think currently the fire exit ladder goes all the way up to the roof, but back then it didn't. Back then it went only so high up to the top story, and then there was a TV aerial to get up the rest of the way.
Oh wow!
And that blew my mind. That was just like wow. So basically you're just thinking outside the box, and you've just seen a ladder where there is no ladder. So we used a TV aerial to get up onto the roof, and up there was a trap door which led into the actual building itself, and we had to run of the entire place. And from that point on, I was hooked. And I don't know what those guys are doing now because I haven't seen them ever since. But I've been hooked. It blew my mind. I started looking at the entire world differently. I started seeing ladders in pretty much anything. And
that's amazing.
I just went from there.
Like behind my house at the moment, we've got this beautiful big building. You probably can't see it from there.
No, there's a fence.
Yeah, when you stand up and you look at it, and I look at that building and I think of Assassin's Creed, which is a video game where you climb up buildings and you run across rooftops. And I also imagine if I was the character in Assassin's Creed, I would definitely climb up the balcony and I look at that. You must see that all the time, though.
All the time.
Yeah.
My friends have caught me out doing it. They say that every time I walk through town, I'm just constantly looking at potential ways up a building, and I just get distracted so easy.
It's quite nice that you're a guy that you like to climb up buildings, but there's nothing sinister about you. You're just going there to explore.
I'm just a little bit crazy. In a good way,
and you're curious. You want to know what?
Yeah. Well, I've got this body which is capable of doing it. We all have, but at the same time, society has kind of put these little walls up in our brain. And I think people tell me all the time, should I exercise before doing this? And I say, it's your brain that needs exercise. It's your brain that needs work because you've got to learn how to deconstruct this part of your brain which is saying I can't do this.
Yeah,
because you can. Anyone can. That's the and I should probably put a disclaimer here because that sounds like I'm encouraging everyone to do it. But
yes, please don't try this at home, folks.
This is highly dangerous and done by professionals. Well,
you see all these these videos of these kids in like the Ukraine and it's everywhere now. Like these people climb on top of cranes and high monuments and things like that. Jumping from rooftop. Could you do that? The jumping from rooftop to rooftop thing that all these people do.
I have done, but I wouldn't say I was trying to kill myself, but,
being reckless.
But I was in a mental state at the time where I didn't care if I did.
Oh gosh!
And I just thought one day I just thought, you know what, I'm going to run and I'm going to leap over the alleyway onto Cafe Nero.
Wow.
And I did, and it was terrifying, and I'm never doing it again.
Oh, thank God. Don't do that, please.
Everyone thinks I'm fearless. I'm not. I'm a human being. And I have feelings, and I do have common sense. There is common sense somewhere deep underneath this facade.
Yeah. So when you did this 8 years ago, and you climbed up the old Burger King, so that was two things that kind of sparked it for you. Then being inside an older building and climbing up a height. Which do you prefer more? Do you prefer going and exploring some abandoned building, or is it the same? Or
I would say they've got they've both got their individual perks, really. I mean, there's something really fascinating about abandoned buildings, but and finding what's left behind.
I absolutely feel you.
But, rooftopping is great for stress. I will say that. There's a sense of accomplishment from climbing up a drain pipe and ending up like miles above it. Well, not miles, but above everyone else.
And you're in a place where nobody gets to go as well.
Yeah, there's a sense of detachment. You're kind of like leaving your problems on ground level and just escaping, just for a few hours.
Have you ever caused a bit of panic? Has
Yes.
anybody ever looked up and gone, "Don't do it"?
Oh yeah, I did a rooftop photo shoot a few years back with this girl called Isla who I met in the queue at McDonald's, and she had no hair. And I just said to her, "You look like you're from another planet. Let me do a photo shoot."
That picture, yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
and we went onto a roof and did a photo shoot, and after a little while, I looked over the edge. We were on the corner at the bottom of Pride Hill, and we looked over the edge, and there was like a whole load of people down there looking up at us, and so someone had called the police. There was a bit of a panic,
A group of guys with a giant trampoline.
Obviously, an actual photo shoot is actually a little less discreet than me just sitting on there at night with a camera. So the fact that we were actually like, standing there, she was striking poses in front of the camera. She was a natural. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was great to work with. And I'm not a real photographer. I just have a camera and occasionally make good things, with it. But
I see when you're doing a photo shoot, I guess it's hard to kind of focus, because if I ever go somewhere high, say for example, I went up the column. You guys may have seen on my social media. I went up the column, Lord Hill's column, and I was petrified. I don't do heights, but I like to dare myself a bit, not as much as you, I don't know what I'd say, but I didn't let go of sight of the rail or where I was walking, because just a fear I would just mess up and fall over or something. Like when there's a girl standing there looking at a camera, kind of not paying attention to the edge, it must be really scary. Like,
it's interesting with the girls because often the girls who I've shot with in the past have been considerably more badass than I am, and they'll actually they'll say something like, "Oh, I'll climb up that, and you can take a photo of me," and I'll be like, "What?" And then I've got to try and mask that, because obviously the whole masculine nature kicks in. You're kind of thinking, okay, don't show that I'm concerned for their safety.
This is my gig. I can't.
Now I've got to try and match that, so I end up doing it too. And it's kind of it's expanding. It expands my mind as well. But yeah, I mean, Isla was definitely more. She was definitely quite brave at the whole thing, and so was the other girl who I've shot with, Jess. She was probably. Yeah, badass to the point
have you ever taken someone up a rooftop and they've just freaked out?
Oh, yes.
And you can't get them down?
It used to happen all the time. It's why I stopped going with people so much, because everyone wanted to do it. And then, you show them a drain pipe and then they start crying halfway up the drain pipe. And
I would absolutely love to come into some abandoned old building with you. I'm obsessed with it. In fact, there's the one by the cathedral. There's an abandoned building in the corner as you go under the railway bridge towards the cathedral.
Trying to think
the Abbey, the Abbey, not the cathedral.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah.
I know that one.
Yeah, my wife was like, "It's an old brothel."
It's an old brothel.
Yeah,
yeah.
Can you go in there?
I've been in there before it was covered in scaffolding. I went in there. Yeah, it was interesting. That's actually my most popular blog post at the moment, because it's because everyone knew what it was for decades. Everyone
and they wanted to get a look of inside.
Yeah, it was right there next to the college. It sparked mystery and intrigue for all these years, and then suddenly, there was a massive police raid. It was all closed down.
Oh, wow.
Then I went in, and and I ended up trapped in there with about 8 pigeons all flapping around in the dark, which put me off pigeons for life. And
I can imagine a few guys on social media being, "That's exactly how I remember it." I mean, that's amazing. I love that. And you just recently did one of a drain pipe which runs underneath the road.
Yeah, that was madness.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, I've had my eye on that for some time, and then one of my friends just said, "I've got a boat, Chris," and I was like, "Okay, I'm there." and and we both went up there. We had a third guy who stayed outside because obviously we didn't quite know what we were getting into, and we thought, okay, well, shout up periodically, and if we don't respond, get help, because we don't know what we're getting into. There could be gas, there could be a sudden drop, there could be anything, there could be a cave in,
alligators.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't surprise me.
What was a young you like as a kid?
Oh.
Were you an adrenaline junkie? Were you never scared of things like this, or what?
I was completely different.
Yeah?
I was a bit of a wuss, to be honest. I just, I was completely I was completely shut away. I didn't really mingle with anyone or anything. I just, I was introverted to the point of it being worrying, and I just,
I bet it's daunting. Then you got like social media with all those people. It's great. It's liberating. I suppose.
No, it's in a way, it's still isolating because you get like there's nothing more isolating than on your birthday having like 600 people who don't even know you telling you that happy birthday just because Zuckerberg's told them that it's your birthday. It's just and then you start to just sit there and you think, okay, that's happy birthday number 700. Where are my real friends? I've still got no plans. So, I'm just sat here by myself at home, and I'm not even drunk yet.
I think it's really inspiring that you've done something that you wanted to do, that you did on your own. I know you met those people, but it was of your own accord, and yet you found a community of people because of that.
There is a community growing, definitely. Yeah. It's, we do a few team ups now and then, but there's loads of explorers in Shropshire now who just do what I do, and some of them say they do it because of me, and then I watch them climb up a drain pipe, and I just think, okay, well, I've got to try not to. You've got to live up to their expectations a bit then, because
you do something that a lot of people can't and wouldn't do. I saw that picture of you. Okay, people, you've got to put this into perspective now. There's a picture of Chris stood on top of the clock tower on the market hall, that big, tall clock tower, and you're stood on the spire. Why? How? When? What is all this about?
Oh, well, that's I got up there. That was a challenge, but I did it.
Did you scale the whole wall?
No.
I was going to say.
There was a lot of time spent inside the clock tower.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's an amazing picture. I looked at it and I thought I would never do that. I nearly had a nervous breakdown before I went up the column, which isn't that high when you think about it. I think it's just more like this straight up.
I've actually got a fun story about the column, actually.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, tell us.
It was covered in scaffolding a few years back. I think around 2008.
Is that when they were cleaning the statue and stuff?
Yeah. And I went up it then, and I've actually got a picture of me sat on Lord Hill's shoulder with my arm around his big old head, and...
That's amazing.
Yeah, but I thought, okay, well, the scaffolding's in plain sight, but maybe I can, because the door at the top was open, so I thought I could go down the column to get out. And so I went all the way down the inside of the column to the bottom door. I know it was locked. Yeah. I thought maybe it was on a latch, you could open it from the inside, but no. So I had to. So I've gone up the column on the scaffolding. I've gone down the column via the inside. Now I've got to go back up the column again just to go down the scaffolding.
That's amazing.
Four trips up the column. So yeah,
I've done those steps. They're hairy. I'm a big guy as it is, but for anyone, I think that's a big strain on there. Is there something you've eyed up on TV, or is there a goal that you really want to climb?
Yeah, I guess. I follow a lot of other rooftoppers on Instagram and stuff now, and and some of them live in like big cities, London and America. Some of the cities in America as well. And some of the things these people do like put me to shame. I'm just looking.
I can imagine with these skyscrapers and things. Yeah,
and I'm just there on like a 4-story like building, and they're like miles above me, and I just think, okay, well, I'll like their picture, but I doubt they're going to like me back because what they're doing. But they're really nice though. It's a great little community. They're really nice and they're really supportive, and they say, yeah, you're doing really well there. You're doing it with what you've got.
I think it's the same with a lot of kind of media outlets or social media groups, because the podcasting community is great. You'd think it'd be really, competitive, but it isn't. We all stick together and we all help each other and promote each other's shows. it's really cool.
I think with the whole roof-topping thing, though, I mean, it's not about that. It's not about it's not a competition between how high you can go. It doesn't matter if you're 4 stories up or 10. Ultimately, it's the same mindset which got us there. Yeah. So it doesn't really, we kind of identify with that. We kind of like we're fellow adventurers. Breaking the walls of our little box and just reaching beyond our grasp in that aspect.
Is there a limit? Is there a certain height you'd get when you'd be like, no, it's too much, man. I've had enough from coming down.
I haven't found it yet.
No?
I did climb a crane a couple of years ago.
You climbed a what, sorry?
A crane.
And wow.
And yeah, that was windy, but
I can imagine.
Not particularly off-putting.
I can't imagine doing that. That's freaking me out just thinking about it. I mean, when it was on top of the column, here's Alex with his column story again. Well, I was on top of the column. I was holding onto the rail the whole time, or I had to touch the wall the whole time because I have a terrible fear of heights. And as we were coming round to go back into the door to go down, there was this massive gust of wind, and I was holding onto the bar and the wall so tight. And I was like, oh my God. And my hat actually blew off. I always wear a backwards hat, and it blew off and landed in the car park down below. It was like a scene out of a horror movie, when they go to grab the hat and they fall over the rail. So I just thought, hold on for dear life, So thinking about being on a crane, that's terrible. I mean, I know Steve-O from Jackass did it, didn't he?
That takes me back.
Yeah, I remember seeing that and I was thinking, I didn't realise Steve-O was so crazy, I know he's done some crazy things with Jackass, but that was to do with the Sea Life Centre or something, wasn't it? He was trying to...
Can't remember. It's been so long since I watched Jackass. I mean, that was like...
I just wonder if like someone like Steve-O's looked at what you guys are doing and thought, that's crazy. I'd love to get a piece of that, I
think Steve-O predates me a little bit. I wasn't thinking of doing this back then. Back then, this sort of thing was left to the guys on TV.
Yeah, and I saw that documentary. There's a documentary, I think it's a BBC thing or something like that, where there's a young lad and he went to like Russia or Ukraine, and they were doing things and he was daring them to do them, and I was just like, these kids are crazy, man. Like the building regulations in the Ukraine aren't exactly the same as what they are in the UK. Did that inspire you? Have you seen that documentary?
I actually haven't, but I do have quite a few. I'm amassing quite a few contacts out at that side of the world anyway, because that's one of the places that I need to get.
Yes,
to.
We have big building. You come climb my building. Yes,
yeah, exactly.
We jump off rooftop, not die.
All the good stuff's underground over there.
Yeah, underground fascinates me. I mean, I used to work at an old casino arcade type place in Wrexham called Shipley's, and underneath there was the basement was basically a cordoned off section of crypts that run all underneath Wrexham, apparently.
Oh wow,
that'd be a good place for you to check out.
That's totally going on my mental checklist of
apparently all the shops were linked by these chambers and these tunnels. And
that means I've got to go to Wrexham by choice.
I grew up in Wrexham.
No offense to Wrexham.
Apparently, there's loads of places. What's the best place? I mean, apart from I go say London's got like miles and miles worth of tunnels, but where have you been that fascinated you? Underground.
Underground.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Because I know Shrewsbury's got a few tunnels, hasn't it?
Shrewsbury's got a few nuggets. Yeah. It's not as connected as people might think. I mean, rumor has it that the Abbey connects to pretty much everywhere, but it doesn't. And a lot of it's rumors that have just a lot of it's Chinese whispers. But yeah, there's a few interesting places underneath Shrewsbury.
I've heard a rumor that like the castle links up with the prison or the train station, or is there a tunnel that runs from the castle to the prison?
The castle has it has what looks like it was a tunnel.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's kind of like bricked up at the end. You go in a few feet and then you just. It's nice modern brickwork, so chances are it was something once, but it's not there now. Yeah. If you want something interesting related to the castle, then the best place to check out is Castle Carpets, which is literally right next to the Dana footpath.
Oh, okay.
Their cellar, it looks like a cavern. It's got archways leading off all over the place. You can tell it was something a little bit more than just a carpet shop back in the day. It's not something.
That's right. It's just a spring. Would they let me go and look at that? If I was like, I'm from the Shrewsbury Biscuit.
If you ask
show
them.
Me yourself.
Well, they let me go in, so and that was back when I was starting out. So yeah,
I might pop into there. Then I'll be like, I'll give them a card. I'll be like, I'll give you an interview.
a lot of the people in Shrewsbury, they're very a lot of these smaller businesses, they're very proud of of the history
Yeah,
and stuff, and when you're on top of something like their cellar, I think I got a funny feeling that the guy who owns that place just wants answers. He wants someone to come in and know exactly what it is, because he hasn't got a clue. He's mystified by it all. He thinks it might have led to the castle at one point, but really he doesn't know. And I think he's kind of hoping that someone will one day tell him.
I mean, I saw something. I don't know if it was actually on your page, but something about tunnels, and it was done by the church so that the vicars and things could get to pubs and things without being seen.
That's just the general theory behind why there are tunnels, to be honest, because that's a historic fact that the priests and stuff they were humans. They wanted to go to the pub, they wanted to go to the brothels,
but they didn't want to ruin their reputation.
Exactly.
I suppose, yeah.
So quite a lot of these old towns did have tunnels which led from the churches to. The old St. Chad's ruin behind the square did have a tunnel leading to the Golden Cross.
Oh, wow.
But the owner bricked it all up because he was sick of people asking to see it.
Oh,
I would have charged money if I was him personally.
Yeah. I remember I went to there's a little church outside Battlefield farm shop. There's a little church and you can get the key and you can get the key to go into the little church there, and you can climb up the bell tower. And I climbed all the way up this staircase, which was rickety and old, and I was like, I'm going to die. I went to open the door, and I was like, I can't, nah. I climbed up all the staircase for no reason. I came back down because I could tell you I'm terrible with heights, But it's just the experience of doing it. So anyway, how's all this going? Like, social media seems to be growing. You get a lot of love. Do you get a lot of hate as well?
I do get hate, but I tend to just delete block. If it's funny, I might let them entertain me for a little while longer. But I try not to make a big deal out of it because I don't care. It's it's over my head.
Are these kind of messages that are trolls, or is it kind of like Margaret 62? How dare you go around this old building? Where's you got no respect, young man? I can imagine.
Bit of both. I mean, primarily, I would say primarily the hate comes from trolls.
Yeah.
But there was I've actually identified one of them based on the spelling and grammar errors. So that was quite fun. I started referring to him as my publicist because that's all a hater is really. They're going on and on about me. They're just spreading the word.
A lot of it is they reckon is with trolls is that they got a deep hatred for themselves, or they have no respect for themselves.
I think that's true of any negative person who needs to put someone else down. Really, it's just it's a self-esteem thing. You need to feel powerful.
Just run people down. It must be horrible. But the love, the respect that you get, and a lot of, I've just been thousands and thousands of likes and comments on your pictures. What you would expect. That must feel good, yeah?
It does. Yeah, definitely. The inbox is full of people write to me all the time. And I can't respond to all of them, unfortunately, but it comes in. And you're right that there is the occasional person who's all like, usually the elder people are just a bit, they have a bit of a groan about it. And,
Hey guys, how's it going? Quick promo time. Do you like beer, specifically IPA? Well, our friends at Chef Sophie are running Christmas beer tasting. And of course, that is hosted by beer genius, in my opinion, Matt Hocking. It says here on their Facebook, expect an enticing selection of varied, limited batch craft beers from some of the most progressive and talked about breweries of the year. Matt will talk you through each beer and brewery as well as the history of this style. The event runs through Thursday the 29th and Friday the 30th of November at 7 p.m. Tickets are just £25. If you don't know where Chef Sophie is, firstly, shame on you. It's a great waffle house on Mardle in town. They sell great waffles, coffee, all kinds of food, really nice foods. They also sell some great IPAs there. I visit there quite a lot because me and Matt have a lot in common as far as beers are concerned. Make sure you check these guys out. I'll be definitely dropping a link to this event on our social media, so it'll be there for you to check out. Thank you, guys, and on with the show.
I mean, I can imagine because I mean, this is, I mean, it's crazy to think about it. This got to be kind of a new thing, isn't it? Or this rooftoping? Because
Actually, not. No. I mean, I'm on quite a few of the old history groups on Facebook, and people have been taking rooftop photos for centuries.
Oh, okay. I mean, I can imagine it, but I mean, I thought with the spread of social media and Instagram, it's caught like wildfire. But yeah,
it has blown up massively since because of social media. But I think it's because back in the old days, there was nowhere to really put your pictures, was there? It was kind of like no one really knew about it, but they're coming. They come to light now, and that's why I always say to people, they might complain if I'm sat on a roof today. But in about 50 years' time, that photo is going to be, it's going to be loved. People are going to be shared. It's going to be like, this is what Shrewsbury looked like 50 years ago, and the nostalgia is going to kick in because the people of Shropshire, they love their nostalgia. You know, all over these groups, people are posting pictures of what the street used to look like and stuff back when they were young. And
that's what I get from things like for the love of Shrewsbury with Lorraine.
Lorraine's lovely, isn't she?
She's amazing. I've reached out to her. She's going to come on the show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, Lorraine.
She referred to herself as a shirkette back when she first discovered me, which was a little bit. Oh, okay. That's what my female fans are now, shirkettes.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Oh, I'm a shirkette. No, am I a shirk? What would I be as a guy?
I don't know. Just give yourself.
I'm a shirker. I'm a shirker.
Excellent.
No, but for the love of Shrewsbury, I love seeing how people kind of really gel with these amazing pictures that they share. You were talking about nostalgia and how everybody kind of gels with that. And I suppose your kind of your blog and Instagram kind of, it just feeds that.
Yeah,
people love it.
Well, I've got about 4 or 5 different photos, all from above the entrance to the Darwin Shopping Centre, all looking in at the exact same building, which is currently the Waitrose building, and you can just see how everything around it has just changed over the years.
I bet you get a lot of people. Do you ever have you ever gone into an abandoned building and someone's gone, I used to live there?
Yes.
Yeah?
That's happened a few times.
That must be weird.
Oh yeah, it's they love it. Yeah? It's really surprising. People write to me and say, I know the history of that place, and often it's too personal to add to the blog, but I do if I can. But usually, I don't want to air anyone's dirty laundry. I think the houses are more. An abandoned house is far more fascinating based on what's been left behind and what's there to see now.
Yeah.
The history is important as well, but ultimately these are just normal people like you or I. Well, maybe not me, but
there is like an amazing thought process that goes behind, say, I don't know, finding a book with a bookmarker in it. They were stuck on page 273. Like, I wonder what was going through their day when they suddenly stopped reading this book and left this house. What's the most bizarre thing you found in an abandoned house?
Okay, this one, I haven't actually blogged about it yet, but
oh, cool! An exclusive on the Shrewsbury Biscuit.
Yeah, I found an abandoned house, and the owner was clearly receiving some kind of end of life care.
Okay,
but the food in his fridge was dated 1995, so it's been a while since he's been alive. Presumably, unless he was eating out of date food, but I can't see that being
like a Meals on Wheels type thing.
Yeah, but yeah, he had a care home style bed, so which I got like a hospital kind of bed. He had it was obvious that he'd been living the remainder of his life in this one room because the rest of his house was just so decayed and empty. Whereas he had his TV and all his DVDs and stuff were in, and right next to the bed was a catheter bag of blood.
Oh my god!
And I have no idea what, because I would have presumed once he was dead, the whoever was giving him care should have cleaned it all out.
That's really sad, though, isn't it? That they just left it. Mustn't have had anyone to leave his stuff to. That's quite sad, actually.
Well, that's the thing. I said that on my blog a little while ago. If something was to happen to you now, who's going to take care of all your stuff? And if you've got an answer to that question, then brilliant. But these people didn't. And that's the sad part about what I do, really, is you look at what's been left behind, you just think, this person, spent the last few years of their life by themselves to the extent that no one cleaned up after them.
Yeah,
and it gets a little bit. It gets a little bit sad.
The fact that everything's just left, like undisturbed, and no one's been into. Yeah, that's quite sad. Have you seen anything scary?
Oh, yeah.
That's really freaked you out.
Oh God, I've got a photo on my computer at home, which I can't explain it. I was just taking a photo of a standard dilapidated front room, and there's a window in the back, and it's a ground floor window, but there appears to be a head peeking over the window ledge.
Oh my God!
And I've shown it to people to ask their opinion, and they all ask the same thing: were there any children present? Because this is the ground floor window, so to be peering over the top, you need to be like.
I'd love to see that picture.
Yeah, I could send it to you.
Yeah,
but it's but you look at it; it looks like an old lady, but she must be like about 3 feet tall to be looking through this window, and her face looks very kind of like skeletal almost.
Okay,
but I mean, I've shown it to quite a few people now, skeptics as well, because obviously I want to approach this with skepticism. I don't want to just automatically jump on the whole I've got a ghost on camera thing, because it's possible that there was a child in the house, and maybe if I was poking around, maybe the child got a bit freaked out and thought maybe I was an authority figure who's going to tell them off and decided to make an escape. But
heard some noises.
Generally, though, I mean, when you're not alone in an abandoned house.
You mean paranormally, or
yeah? Well, I don't know about paranormally.
I was going to say, do you believe in the paranormal?
I do now. Yeah. McDonald's kind of like I went into the old McDonald's building on Pride Hill, and I don't believe I was alone for the entirety of my time in there.
I've heard stories about.
Yeah.
Somebody else told me something about McDonald's that was meant to be really haunted. I don't know what it was. Do you ever research the buildings and see what they were before?
I do research it. McDonald's is it's actually the oldest building in the world to have a McDonald's in it. So
wow.
Parts of the cellar date back to the 1200s because
Wow.
it used to be part of the town wall, and it was down there where it got the most. I just got the constant feeling that I wasn't alone, and I kept on hearing snippets of conversation. It sounded almost like someone was trying to tune a TV. It was like occasionally the silence would just break, and I'd hear a snippet of dialogue, and then it was gone. And I thought I'd been busted so many times. I thought, someone's discovered me. I'm just going to stand really still and see if I can hear them. And I couldn't. And in the end, I took a peek, and there was no one there.
I'd have been gone.
Well,
I'd have been gone. Do you get a lot of paranormal groups kind of been like, oh, I know a guy that can get us into a place?
No, that's not happened to me yet.
No?
Generally, those kind of people, I think, tend to have their own contacts, don't they?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So where are you going with this then? What are you going to be doing from now on? Are you going to be expanding? Are you got people you want to work with, or social media? What are you going to do?
I'm actually working on a second blog because my last 10 adventures were all outside of Shropshire. In Cheshire, Wales, Herefordshire, Staffordshire. Wrexham soon, yeah. I'm coming for you, Wrexham. Wrexham's good for rooftopping, though, I will say that.
Yeah, I lived in Wrexham for many years, and it took me a few years to realise that you got to look up. You got to when you're walking around, you got to look up at some of the older buildings.
Yeah, and Crewe as well, surprisingly.
Oh, my mum lives in Crewe.
Yeah, but Crewe, it's a terrible town from a normal person's perspective, but it's great for me. I mean, the townspeople don't care either. I was rooftopping in broad daylight in Crewe, and no one people must have seen me, but no one cared.
He's from Crewe.
I just think that people of Crewe are just like, you know what, our town's terrible. If this person's found a way to entertain himself and have a good time, then bravo.
To the people of Crewe, if you're listening, we love you really.
I do love you, Crewe.
It's jokes. So is this a thing you do to kind of wind down, or have you other hobbies and things that you like to do?
It's definitely something I like to wind down. It's actually really good because it's kind of like a two-sided hobby really. You've got the writing part of it, which is a lot more introverted and a lot more you do that when you're at home, but then when you get out and about, and it's just that's more extroverted and more active, and it burns off a lot of energy as well. If I can't sleep, I'll go rooftoping.
Do you ever like sit on a rooftop and then just sit and write whilst you're on the rooftop with a laptop, or I suppose you can't carry a laptop up there?
No, I've never done that. I will say when I'm on adventures though, my inner monologue is blogging all the time.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about what I'm going to write and stuff,
Yeah.
and that's why I really hate backlogs, because I lose that. You see, so
Yeah.
I try and stay on top of it.
I mean, I saw one of your derrick buildings. You said it was one of your most favorite derrick buildings. It was burnt down house. It was like all burned. The walls were burnt and everything.
Which one was that?
I'm not sure, but you said it's one of your favorite places. And the walls looked all black, as if they'd been burned. I don't know. But I mean, I think you've been through burnt down buildings.
I've been through burnt down buildings. They're pretty treacherous. I wouldn't recommend them.
The wood must be really,
Yeah.
fragile. What would you, if, I mean, guys, I'm not encouraging you to do this, so please don't do this. What advice would you give to someone if they were going to even be either stupid or brave enough to do what you do?
Don't be cocky.
Yeah?
Yeah, because when you're rooftopping, you know, you've got to know what your body's capable of.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be someone out there who wants to show off and do something spectacular. Just you know, and I just want to say, don't be cocky. The second you're cocky, you're gonna make a mistake.
Yeah.
And
You see all these people standing on skateboards and things off on the edge of a building and running and doing somersaults and parkouring down across.
Well, you know, if they've done that a million times and they know for certain that they can do it, then bravo, they can do it. But you know, that's not being you know, knowing what you're capable of is not the same as being cocky, really.
Have you tried the parkour thing?
Well, I'm a bit too clumsy for the parkour thing. But,
For people that don't understand what parkour is, this is those people that kind of run and jump off high things and roll on the floor, and then they climb up buildings and jump from rooftop to rooftop. You know, these guys they do what you do, but like super fast, right?
yeah, and really graceful and
At times,
bouncing off things. And
There was a kid that died last year, wasn't it?
Wasn't it?
I think. Did I remember hearing it? It was in Ukraine or something. Somebody fell off a building, doing that sort of thing. I think he was on camera doing it. I don't think they've ever released the footage or whatever. But
an urban explorer did die in America recently as well.
Really?
She was in a storm drain, and there was a rainstorm, and she just drowned.
oh god,
And that was her partner was down there with her, but he just got swept away, and he survived, but she died.
oh my god.
And that was a massive blow.
Is that a time to kind of hang up your trainers or your exploring hat? You know, is there a time when you do that?
If that happened to me, if I'd lost someone I cared about doing this, then I'd probably see it as a tribute to them to carry on doing it personally.
Oh, okay, that's really inspiring.
That's what I would like to. That's what, if someone cared about me and that happened to me, then you know,
Just live out his legacy.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you know, there's no. We know the dangers.
Yeah.
You know, we're consenting adults. We go into this knowing what we're getting into.
Yeah.
And it's just this is why I try not to encourage children to do it. To be honest.
No, absolutely not. In fact, all children listening to this, don't you dare. Don't make daddy angry. What I was going to say, where, if you could go anywhere in the world right now without any money, would you go all Indiana Jones, Lara Croft? Would you go and go to some tomb somewhere? Where would you go?
I'm actually like amassing a global hit list at the moment.
Really?
Yep, I want to go to Paris for the catacombs.
Oh, let's go there.
Yeah,
that looks amazing.
Also, there's an opera house in Paris which has a dungeon which inspired the Phantom of the Opera story. So,
oh, fantastic!
So that's still there, and you know apparently you can get into that. I don't know for sure. I need to look into that a bit more.
Yeah.
There's Indonesia. There's a big derelict church in the jungle which is shaped like a giant chicken.
Oh wow!
And I'm going there, and you know, there's no ifs. I'm going there.
That'd be amazing.
It's so bizarre. I need to see it.
Oh wow! Right, so let's take a minute just to talk about your blog and your Instagram and things. So, where can people find your blog?
The blog is shrewsburyfromwhereyouarenot.blogspot.com.
Okay.
The links to the social media are on there too, but generally it is just the same. It's facebook.com/shrewsburyfromwhereyouarenot. And Instagram.com/Shrewsbury from where you are not.
Yeah.
Twitter's different because Twitter wouldn't let me have that long name. So
we've had the same with the show. We are the Shrewsbury B1. I can change it, but I remember I highlighted it to change it, and I was thinking, what would I change it to? I'm trying to think of something to change it to.
Twitter's Urbex Shropshire, but you don't need to follow Twitter because no one likes Twitter. So
we're on everything on Instagram and Facebook. I think Instagram and Facebook are our best hits. You know,
Well, Instagram's great. It's
For what you do, it's perfect.
it is my favorite of all the platforms. You know, I could go days without checking Facebook, but Instagram, I'm on it all the time. I love Instagram.
Yeah.
And I love just keeping up with all what other people are doing as well, because obviously I see things on Instagram, like other abandoned places, other rooftop shots, and I just think, okay, time to research that because I'm going there.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's generally how I work.
Is there somewhere you have you been abroad to any places to kind of...
Not doing this, no.
We'll have to... If you do go, give me a shout and we'll try and do what we can with the show to try and cover what you're doing.
That would be cool.
Yeah. I mean, this is fascinating for me. I'd love to come with you one day for a day. I mean, we go to some abandoned building, we take a camera and record. We can even, I've got my task cam here. We can sit and record a podcast from an abandoned building. That would be amazing.
I'm down for that. I know a few.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know a few.
Oh my God, this is, we're starting a beautiful relationship here. Is there somewhere that you've been trying to get to in Shrewsbury that you've just never been able to get into that you really would like to? Maybe?
Let me think.
Or have you just always managed to get where you need to get?
The Old St. Chad's, I would say, is the ultimate holy grail. It's like the last, you know, the one behind the square, that little ruin. You know, I don't think I'm going to be able to get in there through my usual antics. I think I'm going to have to like find the correct channels and get permission. But I really want to see it, just because.
Well, you know, this show is gonna grow, and we're speaking to a fair few people that are linked to the show. If we can get you in there, get you some cameras, maybe link you with a few people, and we'll try.
If you're out there, owner, I want to penetrate your holy church.
Yeah. That's fantastic. You're in the best place, aren't you, really, for this kind of thing? Because Shrewsbury's just...
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would, just because of the relationship I've got with the police as well. Just because, you know, I mean, I couldn't get away with this in London.
No, I don't know. I mean, it's a cultural thing you're doing. You're not stealing people's property.
I think I'd have to be a bit more anonymous in London. In Shrewsbury, I've been able to be very transparent about who I am, and you know, and everyone, you know, about my real name and stuff like that.
I can imagine you walking into London and going, "I'm Chris Shirk. I'm here to conquer you," and there's a load of bobbies going, "No, you're not, mate." You
exactly. You know, that wouldn't work at all. And I would need to be anonymous in any of the major cities.
Imagine all the underground tunnels, and that would be amazing.
Oh God, yeah.
You know, I mean, I know you can go to the old nuclear bunkers and things. You can go and get permission to go down there.
Manchester as well is great for tunnels.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Manchester was going to have a tube at one point, and they decided instead to opt for the tram system, but the tube stations are still down there.
Oh my God. That's amazing. I'd love to see that. I mean, I know Liverpool's got a tube station. I didn't even know that. I turned up to Liverpool one time. They're like, "We're going to go on the tube." And I was like, "What?"
Whoa. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'm going to end with one thing I always ask people at the end of the show. What does Shrewsbury mean to you?
I think Shrewsbury is it means it's untapped potential. Definitely, there are so many creative people here. There are so many people doing interesting things, and a lot of them are just a lot of them are doing it in secret. A lot of them are doing it. A lot of them are introverts. But if we were organized, if we were like if we were
a collective,
we could accomplish something massive.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was last year. Someone managed to organise all of the local coffee houses to make zombie movies, and there was like a showing at Albert Shed, and that was amazing. That so many creative people just showed up for that, and that's when I realised, you know, and the guy who draws The Walking Dead said the exact same
Charlie
thing.
Adler. I've had him on my other shows.
He's lovely, but he said that everyone's come out of the woodwork. And I think that's what Shrewsbury needs more of is that, because we've got so much talent here, and there definitely needs to be
a spark that ignites the fire. Here's me quoting Star Wars from a movie that everybody hates. I watched it last night, and there's a scene at the end of that movie where a young boy force grabs a broom, and everyone's like, "Oh, this boy can't just be a Jedi." And I was like, the point is, sometimes inspiration leads us on to do great things, you know. And Shrewsbury is no exception. I think Shrewsbury is like a pot of gold when it comes to independent thinking and amazing people. And, you know, we've got a voice, and I want to go out there and kind of use my voice to encourage people like yourself, which is why I wanted to get in touch and bring you on the show. So I'm really privileged to have spoken to you. And hopefully you can come on again. I'd love to sort out maybe recording from an abandoned building sometime. That'd be amazing.
I'm definitely up for that.
Yeah, I'm playing with my new toy now, my little Tascam mic. We've been recording on that as well. So depending on the quality of that, we'll definitely sort something out. But thank you very much for coming on the show.
Yeah, no worries.
I wish you all the luck with your social media and not breaking your back as well, falling off a building.
Yeah.
Please don't hurt yourself. Be careful. And yeah, I hope your blog and Instagram grows, and you finally get to go and see some of the places that you always wanted to see. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
That's been really cool. Thank you. And guys, make sure you give us a like and a share and a subscribe and all that.
And me.
Yes. Go. In fact, whilst you listen to this now, go onto Instagram and on the search bar. You do it now. I'll wait. Put in from Shrewsbury where you are not. And
Shrewsbury from where you are not.
Shrewsbury from you are not.
Yeah.
Shrewsbury from where you are not. Sorry.
Everyone gets that mixed up, don't worry.
Disregard what I just said. Shrewsbury from where you are not. And have a look on his Instagram because it is amazing. There's pictures on that Instagram that you won't see anywhere else. I mean, of course, because it's, on rooftops, abandoned buildings and things. It's really is beautiful. Some amazing pictures on there. So thank you guys, and we will see you next week. Thank you very much.